Folks, Rick Waddell here. I'm the Chief Investment Officer at RFG Advisory in Birmingham. Today is Monday, September 21st, and I thought I'd come to you with a brief market update, kind of let you know what's going on out there. The S&P 500 is down about 2% currently to a level of about 3250. We'll talk about where that is in sort of historical context, but we are seeing a little bit of a pretty broad-based sell-off here to start the week with. That's really been being driven by three factors. The first is the virus data, which continues to not be encouraging, particularly over in Europe. So here in the United States, we are seeing rising caseloads. We haven't seen any type of rise in hospitalizations or deaths, but those tend to follow with a several week lag around the new caseloads themselves. And over in Europe, they continue to see some spiking caseloads, which is raising the possibility of maybe another mini lockdown over in Great Britain, or perhaps some other measures in some of these other countries, which obviously isn't great for economic activity and thus for economic growth. I think there is some rising concern about a second wave of the virus, if you will, through the winter months until we can actually get through to a vaccine, and that's obviously playing on the markets today. Second thing driving the markets right now is the bank stocks. There was a report out over the weekend by a series of investigative journalists that basically detail that the banks observed about $2 trillion worth of suspicious activity, suspicious transactions from 1997 to 2017. Sorry, between 1999 and 2017. Which really just raises the specter of potential additional regulatory action, possible fines, etc., against a wide number of banks. You've seen the bank stocks down anywhere around about 5% across the board, which is obviously weighing on the rest of the market. And then last but not least, we got the death sadly, of Justice Ginsburg over the weekend. That's really raising a little bit of political concern ahead of the election for a couple of different reasons. The first is the Republicans are obviously going to push to replace her prior to the election. While they are working on that, it creates a lot of tension politically between the Democrats and the Republicans and pushes any type of agreement that we might have been able to get to on either a stimulus package or even maybe avoiding a government shutdown. It pushes the likelihood of those things happening much lower. And the second thing that I would note, which is a little bit more of a nuanced concern, is if the Republicans are in Washington, D.C. trying to get a Supreme Court justice confirmed, those senators can't be out campaigning, which may put some of the Republican senators that are in a little bit more swing states or a little bit more at risk of losing their seats. Which may increase the odds of seeing the Senate flip to Democratic control. So that is weighing on the market as well this morning. I would note that we are seeing tech outperform today, which is a little bit of a reversal of what we've seen. It's almost a flight to safety, if you will. Those cyclical and value-driven stocks are the ones that have the greatest concerns around economic growth. And as we've seen some of this, questions come up around economic growth via the virus or via the political concerns that I just touched on, you're seeing those cyclical stocks underperform. That's a little bit of a reversal from what we've seen heretofore in this sell-off. The last thing that I would just note is this is not March. The sell-off that we're seeing is orderly, and in fact, we're off the lows. We were down as much as 2.7% earlier today. We're not even 9%, we're basically 9% off the market highs. We're not even in correction territory yet for the S&P 500. So, a little bit of caution, a little bit of concern out there, but these types of sell-offs are kind of normal in volatile markets like this. So, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or directly to your advisor. I look forward to talking to you again soon, and have a happy Monday.